Ladies and gentlemen, please we recite the national pledge on the count of 1, 2, 3. I pledge Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all respect, to defend our unity, and uphold the honor and glory. So help me. Thank you.
The executive directors and management staff of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, gentlemen of the press, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure and gratitude that I welcome you all to this special occasion marking the 1-year anniversary of the appointment of the current executive management to pilot the affairs of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria with my humble self as the Managing Director / Chief Executive. While extending our gratitude to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for finding us worthy and giving us the opportunity to serve this country through our appointments to manage the affairs of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, today provides an opportunity to reflect on our journey over the past year, highlight our achievements, and share our strategic direction for year 2025. I assumed office in the bank along with my colleagues exactly on the 19th of February 2024, our first year in retrospect. When this management assumed office, we set forth a bold vision for the transformation of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to enhance its efficiency, transparency, and impact on the Nigeria's housing and mortgage finance sector. Our focus has been on driving institutional reforms, financial sustainability, and strengthening stakeholder collaboration to ensure the bank effectively delivers affordable housing solutions to Nigerians. I am pleased to report significant progress across key areas on which today's discussions will be focused. These key areas will include financial performance, operational performance, and our plans for 2025. So I start with the financial performance. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, the financial health of the bank, like any other corporate entity, is crucial not only to its survival, but to the achievement of the mandate and strategic targets set out for the executive management. Accordingly, since our assumption of office, we have made deliberate efforts to strengthen our balance sheet, enhance revenue generation, and optimize our operational costs to ensure financial stability. I am happy to inform you that over the past year, FMBN has recorded significant improvements in its financial standing. In the past 1 year, through our strategic focus on revenue growth, prudent financial management, and cost efficiency measures, we reduced operational expenses while maintaining service excellence. There was improved discipline across the organization, leading to better utilization of resources. These efforts have resulted in an operational surplus of 11.58 billion naira from our management accounts for 2024. This is the first such experience since FMBN came into existence over 30 years ago. Although this figure is expected to come down significantly when impairment is applied, we have set out to tackle frontally all aspects of our operations that lead to high impairment on our results, especially in tackling the high non-performing loans inherited by the current administration, and pursuing with great efforts the recapitalization of the bank. A grossly inadequate capital of 2.5 billion hinders the capacity of the bank to perform optimally. These achievements underscore our commitment to ensuring that FMBN remains a financially viable institution, capable of fulfilling its mandate of driving affordable home ownership in Nigeria. Next is our operational performance. In order to enhance service delivery and mortgage accessibility, The current executive management has focused on improving operational efficiency, and this has resulted in significant improvements in our performance parameters. Under the National Housing Fund operations, our collections grew by 3 billion naira in 2024, resulting in total collection of 103 billion compared to the 100 billion the bank recorded in 2023. This increase in NHF collections demonstrates renewed trust and participation in the NHF scheme by Nigerian workers. To further illustrate the improvements, a total of 658 employer organizations and 178,619 employees were registered in 2024 compared to 556 and 113,577 respectively in 2023. Another significant achievement here is the resumption of Kano State civil servants back into the NHF scheme after 24 years of being out of the scheme. The memorandum of agreement to facilitate this was signed between the bank and the Kano State government on Friday, 31st January 2025. This will impact positively on the NHF collections in 2025 as Kano State has a workforce of over 160,000 civil servants. Under our loan operations, a total sum of 71.5 billion naira was approved in the past year compared to 39.75 billion in 2023. In the FMBN's refund operations, the sum of 14.4 billion was refunded to 44,333 beneficiaries against 13.2 billion refunded to 40,426 beneficiaries in 2023. Other operational activities. One is support for housing development. Under the current management, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria continues to play a key role in advancing the housing sector agenda under the Renewed Hope Housing Program of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. To ensure the success of the laudable initiative, the bank has provided a 100 billion naira optical guarantee for the Renewed Hope Housing Project nationwide. In addition to this, the bank has also provided direct funding of the sum of 19.9 billion naira for the project in Karsana, Abuja, as well as 27 billion naira facility for the Renewed Hope Housing Project in Igbejuleki, Lagos. 2. Process automation for operational efficiency. When we came on board, the current executive management prioritized the full implementation and completion of the core banking application to streamline our operational processes and improve service delivery. It is to be noted that the deployment of this application had taken too long to conclude before the current management took over. Today, I am delighted to announce that the majority of our transactions are now being conducted under the core banking application. Accordingly, we will be closing out the implementation of the application by March 31st, 2025, and entering the maintenance phase, which will last for 6 months from April 2025 to September 2025. The successful completion of this project is bound to position the FMBN for more efficient, technology-driven operations. 3. A recovery of non-performing loans. It is an open secret that this great institution is heavily weighed down by non-performing loans. This is due majorly to the quality of credit that the bank used to book. Accordingly, when we came on board, we chose to challenge the status quo and to do things differently. We introduced stricter loan appraisal processes to improve credit quality, reduce loan defaults, and enhance recovery mechanisms. Also, in line with this direction, on the 3rd of June 2024, to demonstrate the seriousness attached to the issue of non-performing loans, we inaugurated 7 recovery task teams to recover delinquent loans across the country's geopolitical zones. As a direct result of this initiative, we have recovered 10.9 billion naira in bad loans through the recovery teams. This is in addition to our normal recovery activities, which also yielded a sum of 3.1 billion naira in 2024. The executive management has also been able to resolve several long outstanding non-performing loan cases, 5 of which currently await final board/ministerial approval for exit. 5. Effective project management. The current management has strengthened project monitoring mechanisms to ensure timely delivery of housing projects. We have also commenced the implementation of a deliberate strategy to equip our staff with the required knowledge, skills, and competence required for effective project management. In furtherance of this, 350 staff were trained on effective and modern project management in 2024 alone. This training initiative will continue in 2025 to ensure that every employee is equipped with essential project management skills. 6. Stakeholder engagement for the recapitalization of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. One of our strategic and critical objectives on assumption of duties at the FMBN is the recapitalization and strengthening of the bank to facilitate effective delivery of its mandate. Compared with its global peers and considering the critical nature of its mandate, it is an understatement to say that FMBN is grossly undercapitalized. With a paid-up capital of only 2.5 billion, the bank cannot even stand side by side with a national primary mortgage bank. Accordingly, we made it a top priority to pursue the recapitalization of the bank through the injection of 500 billion naira fresh capital. Out of this, 250 billion is to be injected by the federal government, while we will raise the balance through debt capital. Our robust stakeholder engagements on this issue have led to the submission of a memorandum to the Federal Executive Council by the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, for the recapitalization of FMBN, as a result of which the Federal Executive Council has directed engagement between the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, and the bank. We will continue to work closely with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, CBN, and the other stakeholders to achieve this critical objective. 7. Resolution of the CBN's prudential guidelines on single obligor limit. One of the major challenges the new management was confronted with on assumption of office was the application of the CBN prudential guidelines that limit FMBN's lending capacity to primary mortgage banks to 50% of their shareholders' funds unimpaired by losses. The impact of this regulation is that it has severely curtailed FMBN's ability to finance new mortgage loans due to the low capitalization of the PMBs. FMBN has argued that the NHF Act, which sets this limitation, provides that FMBN shall not lend to primary mortgage banks more than 50% of their shareholders' funds unimpaired by losses on an annual basis. The Central Bank of Nigeria has hitherto insisted on applying this provision on a cumulative basis. However, arising from our strategic engagement on this issue with stakeholders, including the Central Bank, the Mortgage Bankers Association of Nigeria, and the National Assembly, we believe that we have reached a common understanding with the CBN, and a final resolution will soon be achieved to the satisfaction of all stakeholders. At this juncture, I wish to extend our special thanks to the House Committee on Housing and Habitat for their intervention that led to several engagements on the matter on the current near resolution that will finally put this matter to rest in the course of 2025 by the grace of God. 7.8. Clearance of backlog of approved audited accounts. At the time we came in February 2024, we met a backlog of 6 years unapproved audited accounts from 2018 to 2023. Accordingly, one of the significant milestones we have achieved is the approval of most of the bank's backlog of annual accounts. Thanks to our constructive engagements and collaborative efforts, the 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021 accounts have now been approved by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This was achieved within 9 months of our assumption of office. This is a major step towards restoring confidence in the bank's financial standing and strengthening our institutional credibility. 9. Expansion in strategic partnerships and collaborations. In the past 1 year, we have continued to strengthen partnerships with key stakeholders, including state governments, labor unions, and private developers, to drive affordable housing delivery. The FMBN is currently exploring an MOU with Shelter Africa Development Bank to enhance international collaboration in housing finance, especially in the area of accessing funding for students' hostel accommodation, which is a scheme that the bank is seriously looking at introducing. The idea is that before you contribute to the National Housing Fund, you will first be a student and you will pass through a campus. And it is important to catch them young so that while on campus you feel and hear of FMBN before you graduate to be a Nigerian worker, and then you start contributing to the National Housing Fund. 10, following the approval by the National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the bank was saddled with the responsibility of establishing the National Mortgage Registry, which is intended to serve as a repository for all mortgages in the country. I am happy to report that under our leadership, within 1 year, we have succeeded in establishing the National Mortgage Registry. We are now at the stage of developing an app where mortgages registered across all the land registries across the states of the Federation will be uploaded into that portal. This engagement and collaboration with the state governments is also currently ongoing, and we have received positive feedback from a couple of states, especially Cross Rivers and KB states, indicating their willingness to participate under this scheme. Number 11, we are also participating actively in key housing finance conferences and summits to showcase the bank's leadership in affordable housing finance. In recognition of this, and for the first time in the history of the bank, an entire day was designated as FMBN Day at the 2024 Africa International Housing Show, which attracts leading lights in the Nigerian housing and mortgage finance sector. The bank was rewarded with the Best Housing Finance Solution Award for 2024 in recognition of its efforts and giant strides in the housing finance sector. We are also partnering with the Nasarawa State Government on the financing of affordable home ownership for its civil servants through the Nasarawa Home Ownership / Owner Occupier Program for civil servants living in government quarters. We are also in discussions with several other state governments on the financing of affordable housing across the country and the buyout of some of our estates. We are also maintaining regular engagements with labor and other stakeholders through regular platforms the bank has put in place, like the quarterly FMBN, NLC, TUC, and NECA meetings, and the FMBN, MBAN, and REDAN meetings. 14, commencement of non-interest mortgage loan. In order to deepen financial inclusion and expand access to affordable mortgage finance for home ownership, the current management sought and obtained CBN's approval for the commencement of non-interest mortgages for the teeming segments of our population who are desirous of ethical products. 15, promoting transparency and accountability. We have institutionalized governance frameworks that enhance transparency and accountability. This facilitated our ability in clearing the backlog of audited financial statements for 2018 to 2021 within our first 9 months, as I mentioned earlier. And we are on track to clear all our outstanding accounts before the end of the second quarter of this year. In the course of 2024, we engaged in regular publication of FMBN's activities through newsletters to promote public awareness and build trust. In line with this, our popular FMBN weekly program Everyone Deserves a Home has been restored on NTA and channels, which are aired on Thursdays on NTA and on Saturdays on Channels TV. The current level of transparency has attracted commendation from ICPC, with the high score obtained by the bank in the 2024 Ethics and Integrity Compliance Scorecard, Up to Effectiveness Index, where the bank was scored 72.5% by the Commission. 16. Improve customer service delivery. This is a major pillar in our strategic agenda at transforming FMBN into a true customer service-oriented and customer-centric organization. It is meant to be. To signpost our intention early, our first major retreat as an executive management on assumption of duty focused solely on improving service delivery. Customer satisfaction remains a priority. New feedback mechanisms have been introduced, including mystery shopping, leading to significant improvements in the turnaround times for NHF refunds and other mortgage services. As an attestation to this, the 2024 Servicom scorecard by the Servicom office ranked the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria among the top 10 MDAs in customer service and top 3 among its peers. 17. Implementation of the performance management system. We have started the process of onboarding a robust performance management system that will help us with monitoring, analyzing, and measuring the deliverables we have set for ourselves as staff and for FMBN as an institution. This will not only help us monitor our progress as a corporate entity with corporate objectives, it will also help enthrone necessary transparency in staff promotion and reward system. Group heads, zonal managers, and branch managers, as well as performance management champions, were trained in 2024 on the system by the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation to ensure smooth adoption. 18. As a critical part of this system, management has also approved a reward and recognition system to be conducted quarterly and annually across all operational areas. The first ever annual awards will be held in December 2025. 7.19. Closely related to this is the issue of staff welfare. Management takes the welfare and well-being of FMBN staff very seriously, and we have made deliberate efforts to cushion the effects of the current high cost of living. In this direction, we have implemented several measures and will continue to support staff to be able to live happily as well as give their best to this great institution. So we call on all staff of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to stay tuned as we unleash other initiatives in order to cushion the effects of the cost of living in the country. I now go to our strategic plans for 2025. 1. Strengthening FMBN's institutional framework. By this, we intend to achieve first the review of the 5-year strategic blueprint, which was developed by the bank, so that we can assess the efficacy of that blueprint for optimal performance. 2 is to review and update operational policies to align with global best practices in housing finance. 3, strengthening internal audit and compliance mechanisms to reduce operational risks. 4, increasing the branch network to facilitate extensive mobilization of the informal sector, enhance financial inclusion, and promote effective and more efficient service delivery. In this regard, rather than continue with the present structure where the bank's branches are located only in state capitals, we will identify commercially viable locations with strong informal sector presence and open new branches in those locations in order to bring our services closer to the people. 2, recapitalization of FMBN. In 2025, management intends to seek the cooperation of the stakeholders already identified as directed by the Federal Executive Council for necessary action towards attaining the recapitalization target of the bank to the tune of a minimum of 500 billion naira. This is critical and central to the effective delivery of our mandate. 3. Review of FMBN and NHF Acts. As part of our top priorities this year, we intend that the efforts for the review of the Acts will intensify towards achieving a robust legal framework to enhance the capacity of the bank to meet its mandate of affordable housing financing and provision of sustainable liquidity for the housing sector in Nigeria. The bank has concluded engagement with stakeholders on the draft bills, and which will now be forwarded to our supervising ministry for concurrence and support. 4. Full automation of FMBN operations. As I mentioned earlier, the automation of the deployment of the core banking application technology will be fully closed out by 31st of this year. In 2025, we intend to achieve full automation of all our processes to ensure receipt of alerts by contributors amongst other operational services. 5. Promoting financial transparency and accountability. In the course of 2025, we will be obtaining approval for the outstanding FMBN annual accounts and bring the bank up to date. This will mean getting approvals for the 2022, 2023, and 2024 audited accounts. 6. Recovery of wrongful deductions from FMBN's operational accounts by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. In the course of 2024, we were able to recover 19 billion naira from deductions that were made construed as revenue instead of NHL inflows. And we intend that in 2025, we will continue our engagement with the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy to ensure the full recovery of their trapped funds and also ensure that continuous deduction is stopped. 7. Continued support for the renewed Hope Housing Agenda. In support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's laudable initiative to turn the country into a major construction site through mass housing delivery under the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program of the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, the FMBN will expand its support for the program by making additional disbursements for housing delivery under the program, as well as issuance of additional bankable off-takers guarantees to participating developers so that they can access funding to deliver houses under the scheme. 8. Launching of new products to drive financial inclusion and home ownership. This is to expand access of more Nigerians to affordable housing products. The products to be launched include rent assistance, which is a soft loan to enable contributors to the NHF to meet their rent obligations pending when they are able to own their own homes. 2. Non-interest mortgage. As I mentioned earlier, this is to address the concerns of those who prefer ethical products. And 3. The NHF Diaspora Mortgage Loan to enable Nigerians in the diaspora own houses back home and provide an opportunity for the inflow of foreign exchange into the country. This is in collaboration with NIDCOM and the Central Bank of Nigeria. 9. Completion of all ongoing projects and ensuring effective offtake by beneficiaries. In 2025, we will implement deliberate programs to ensure completion of ongoing stalled projects and ensure effective offtake by beneficiaries. Where necessary, we will pursue outright sale of some of the estates in order to recover the bank's investment. In this regard, we are currently collaborating with Nasarawa, Gombe, Niger, Abia, Osun, Enugu, and Cross River states to ensure takeovers to completion of some estates in those locations and for completion and allocation to civil servants. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate FMBN's commitment to its mandate of facilitating affordable home ownership for Nigerians. We have made significant progress in financial stability, operational efficiency, and supporting national housing priorities, and we are poised to achieve even more in 2025. We appreciate the continued support of our stakeholders, including the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, our development partners, the labor centers, and all contributors to the National Housing Fund Scheme. We also acknowledge the media's role in amplifying our efforts and keeping the public informed of our activities. Thank you for your time and attention as we look forward to continued collaboration towards a more robust and inclusive housing finance system in Nigeria. Thank you all.